I don't get it. Why does sitting around make you more tired than moving around? It sucks. Sometimes I just want to sit around. I don't want to move, but my body says no. I said no.
I say no!
Okay, I've had my fill already. That was like maybe 20 minutes. I've got video editing I need to do anyway. So let's bite the bullet and get it done. Willie! Apparently he's taking full advantage of the neighborhood. Oh well. So I believe I mentioned on the vlog already that I'm going to see Michael next month. AJ's also gonna go too. Do you guys know AJ? You guys know AJ. And I was thinking about all the multiplayer games I had, and it just so happened that I pulled out every home console that Nintendo has ever made. Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Gamecube, Wii, Wii U. Wow, this really held up surprisingly well. Everything but the Super Nintendo is original stuff that I owned when we first bought it. These three were all bought on launch day. This one I remember specifically, we ran to the mall. When I say we ran to the mall, we literally ran to the mall. Well, we drove to the mall and then ran from the parking lot to the EB Games. No, it wasn't even EB Games, it was Electronics Boutique at the time. If you did not grow up with these two systems, you don't know what a leap Super Mario 64 was. But those of you who did, you remember what it was like. And the first time you held this controller, oh man. And it's so funny, people could never seem to figure out that you were supposed to hold it like this. Everybody held it like this and tried to reach to the analog stick. Which one of these is my favorite? Definitely the Super Nintendo. Final Fantasy VI, Secret of Mana, anything made by Square really. This is the best system ever made. Nintendo 64, man, it was great at the time, but it hasn't aged the best. However, this holds my favorite game of all time. This game right here. Ocarina of Time, my favorite game of all time. And big props to my mom. We pre-ordered this game from Best Buy, and when she went to go pick it up for us, they were like, oh, we don't have any of the collector's edition left. And if it weren't for her, we might not have gotten this collector's edition because she actually like started fighting them. Not physically fighting, but I remember spending that entire Thanksgiving break playing just this game. In fact, we played that with our uncle. That's the most I've ever bonded with that particular uncle. It was the Forest Temple in particular that we were working on together. And man, that was so much fun. This gold cartridge. But I remember being in health class, reading this manual over and over again, just wishing that I were at home playing it. It's funny because no game will ever do that again. Like video games in general, they just don't excite me that much in particular, but also there's just no game that will be able to have this sort of mystique. That's the word I'm looking for. Even the new Zelda, like it looks amazing, I'm very excited for it, but it's not like I'm counting the days. Like, can you imagine if I brought the instruction manual to a video shoot and was like reading it in between takes? That'd actually be really funny. And I actually wouldn't put that past myself now that I say it out loud, but GameCube, we bought this on launch day at Meijer, which for those of you who don't know, it's a Midwest store. It's kind of like Walmart. We got like the lottery and they started calling numbers. So there was maybe 50, 60 people, but there was 40 systems available, and we were lucky to get it. We got maybe like after the 10th one. I don't know what we would have done had we not gotten it. This one, I waited out all night at a Target to get this, and that was in November in Indiana. Was it worth it? The Wii U, for those of you who follow video games, you know that the fate of the Wii U has not been good. However, it has had some great games. NES still works like a charm. Yeah. Nintendo systems. Okay, and because I've been doing a terrible job answering comments, let's do a quick Q&A. Okay, this is really funny. 2 minutes ago, Thorgruff just asked me, he said, next Q&A, if you could only have one video game system, which would you pick and why? Thank you, Thorgruff, for the great question and the timely question. If I could only have one system, it'd be the Super Nintendo. And the reason is because it has so many great games that I could play for the rest of the time. F-Zero, Yoshi's Island, Chrono Trigger, Secret of Mana, Mario RPG, Cybernator, which by the way, if you follow video game collecting at all, you know that I just flashed like $500 worth of games. Super Nintendo games are like gold. Maybe I shouldn't let you guys know that. If I could only have one game though, I would have to take the Nintendo 64 so that I could have Ocarina of Time. Do you think you can make a video on relationships? I can definitely make a video on relationships. I have not had the most successful relationships. I can tell you my experiences with them, which I would be glad to do sometime, but I still haven't figured it out myself. If you're looking for really good advice, maybe I'm not the best person to ask. Is meat cheap in New Hampshire? Because it seems y'all have some prime meat every day. I don't know, but in Indiana, it's pretty much just whatever prices are in the rest of the US. I spend good money on grass-fed meat. If I'm going to be eating meat, at the very least, I want the animals to be treated as best. That's why I like buying from the farmer's market, because we actually know the farmers and we know the animals are treated well. Brian Ishko says, I see what you're doing, a little science experiment, eh? I'm not sure if you're referring to the video game systems that have been sitting out. I'm not actually doing a science experiment. That secret video, that's for one of my instructors who's leaving. Did I just eat meat with meat on the side for breakfast? Yes, I do that like every day. What kind of mic do I use? I use the Rode Video Mic Pro. For stuff like this, I have a Rode Link, which is a wireless adapter, so this is transmitting to the camera right now, and this is just hooked up through a long wire. The Rode Video Mic Pro is fantastic. Sound quality is just so good. Great editing with the shopping sequence. How long does it take you to put together a sequence like that? I will say, every single episode of the vlog always takes at least 1 hour. I don't think I've ever done it in under an hour before. Jan Diaz, did you run out of butter, Robby? You seem to be drinking black coffee nowadays. I stopped drinking my coffee with butter because I finally had to accept the fact that whenever I have dairy, my face breaks out, kind of like it is right now. I don't, which side is it? I'm not sure. Yesterday I had this burrito at Brennan's house with cheese, and I knew I shouldn't do it because this happens almost immediately. Yeah, I had to give up the butter and coffee. I still love it, but not so great for my skin. I noticed you were playing Overwatch. Would you say it's worth the purchase? Overwatch is fantastic. If you have friends to play with, I would say don't hesitate at all. Hurry up and get it. Do I ever get stopped and questioned when I film? I was in the Starbucks the other day and they told me not to film in there. I said, okay. I haven't really been stopped and questioned. Sometimes people ask me what I'm doing, but more in just what are you filming, not as in like, what are you doing? I'm gonna yell at you. Okay, and I think that's it. There's something else. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask, tell me what country you guys are from. It's so interesting how the internet connects us. Speaking of which, I'm almost definitely gonna go to Europe at the end of this year. I'm gonna make it happen. Yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching the vlog. Thank you for hitting that like button. See you tomorrow. It has been a good day, but I haven't done anything.